Hey, what's up? This is Damien AM, and we are in Unity looking at my new game called Get the Turkey. Alright, so this is what I was talking about in the last video. I wanted to show you like a little demo of the game. It's a really primitive demo of the game. There's no artwork done yet or anything. Alright, the premise of the game is you are a person looking for a turkey for Thanksgiving. And you need to go to a farm to get one. So you get there, you see a sign that says, pay for what you catch. So you have to go and physically catch your own turkey. You're looking around, and of course, most people, just like when you're at the aquarium, you want the feisty ones. So you see one that looks a little feisty. And you're like, okay, this is the one I want. He disappears. So you're looking for him. And then, when you find him, he's standing on top of an incline, looking down at you, with a snide grin on his face. You start to climb the incline, and he starts pouring vegetable oil down the incline to keep you from getting to him. So, okay, it sounds weird. It really does. But, I think this is a pretty cool idea. So, alright. So, how it works is you start the game, and you have to get from the bottom here all the way up to this red point up on the top. Alright, your score and your high score pops up once you start the game. And then you just click or tap, just like Flappy Bird, to get from the bottom to the top. So, excuse me, you're going to hear some clicking. Alright. Now, if you notice, there's a timer going. Your score is how long it takes you to get to the top. Okay? Now, just now, it only took me about 9 seconds. 8.94. But it's not going to be that easy once the game is done. There's still some things I need to program in to make it exactly the way I want it. Okay, and ignore the error at the bottom. That is only because I have this red dot over here is a trigger to end the game. As soon as you reach that point, that's where the turkey is. Then that's the end of the game. Or that's where the turkey's gonna be. Sorry. Okay, now I have 2 main scripts. Let's start with the short one. Mono develop will open up. Hopefully it opens up correctly, and it does. Okay. If your mono develop doesn't open up, like if it gives you an error when you open it up, just close it and then start it up again, and it'll be gone. I don't know what's wrong with it. It's only happened since I started updating Unity myself. Okay, so we have up here public vector2 speed equals new vector2, and public vector2 tap force equals new vector2. Okay. The tap force is for your Flappy Bird movement mechanic. okay, which is down here. If button input, if input button down, fire 1, which is your mouse button, your left mouse button. It could also be your left control key, or when it's mobile, it's a tap on the touchscreen. So then, rigid body dot velocity equals vector2 dot 0. Rigid body dot add force tap force. Okay, so what this is doing is this is taking tap force, and tap force is your movement speed for your character. Then down here you have void on collision stay 2D, collision 2D, other. If other game object dot tag equals oil, then rigid body 2D move position, blah 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 blah. No, rigid body 2D position speed times time dot delta time. Okay. What this does is this is the script that I've been looking for the most. This is the one that's taken me the longest to find. I've been looking for a type of conveyor belt script or a magnetic force script, something like that, and I couldn't find one. Okay, especially I couldn't find anything that would work on an incline. So I went ahead and did this. The name of the trigger for oil spill, right? This is the track that you're going up. All right, you have the collider, which is the small box here, and then the larger box is the trigger. And if you look underneath in the inspector, underneath where it says oil spill, you'll see tag oil, and that's where this comes in. All right. As long as the other game object's tag is oil, this is what will happen. Okay, so basically, the default setting for it is -1, which means -1 on the x-axis, of course, is you're going left, and -1 on the y-axis means you're going down. Okay, now if I only put -1 or anything in the x column, then when the character slides back down, say I get tired from tapping and I let go, okay, gravity will should take it back the other way. Well, the oil, okay, the slippery surface it's kind of pushing it in the other direction. You're sliding back in the other direction. Not as fast as you were trying to go up, but it's going that way. So the default setting, if I had it at just x, so -1 in the x and 0 in the y, then what it would look like is it would look like the character is being pushed off of each little, like a step, and it will be like a jagged movement. So I didn't want that. What I wanted was an even more smoother movement, so I added a y in there so that it's not just moving outward, it's moving down. I'm going to be presenting this to Unity Answers for maybe one or two of the other questions that were asked about this, because it took me forever to find this. And once I figured it out, I was wondering why it was so hard for this to happen. Okay, so of course you have your debug.log to make sure that you're on the trigger. I'm gonna probably delete that later, but for now I'll just leave it in. Okay, the next script, let's close that. The next script has to deal with this score way. Okay, partially. There's some other things that it deals with, like it'll put the high score up, or the score and the high score up there, blah 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 blah. Okay, let's get into that into more detail. Okay, that was the oil script. Now let's look at score, which will have a lot of information that goes with this score way, and this end it up at the top, this red dot up here, and all the information that you see here on the player. Okay, now let's open up MonoDevelop. Let's go to score. Alright, I've declared a lot of variables here, like skin, time erect, start time, current time, scorecard, new scorecard, high string, high rect, and I set a bool for collision to false, and I'll explain that one especially in a minute, because that one is really important. Okay. So, okay, now, okay, over here, one of the first things you see on the player, if you look in the inspector on the side, you'll see the oil script. And the oil script, I left it to where you can, or I can change the numbers of the speed for the oil spill, and also for the tap force. So 300 tap force is about the same as Flappy Bird's. So I left that alone, and I went through the various speed settings and came up with a set of numbers that will work as far as letting you play the game. Because there's some number settings, like if you're on 1 1, -1, -1, you're not going anywhere. If you are on say -5, -2, you're not going anywhere. And if it's on -6, -3, again, you're not going anywhere. So what this showed me was I could create difficulty levels. I'm not going to put those in right away. I'm going to find out how, if it's easier for me to put it in later or whatever. It depends on how much time I have. Like today is the 9th as I'm recording this, and I still have 14. I still have 16 days, 17 days until I need to have this done. So, and I've been making a lot of good progress with this as a whole. So, and I'm really surprised. So let's get into. Okay. Let's see. I have 2 circle colliders on my player. There might be more on the character that I make because it is an animated item, and I want to make sure that it's going to be touching all of the triggers that I've set up. So I might put more colliders on there to make sure there's a connection between the character and those triggers. Okay. Now, for the score script, you'll see in the inspector, look at all of these variables that I have set up. Okay. Now, the time rect and the high rect, those are well, let me get into the script itself. Okay, this first piece of script, I decided to put the high score in the startup, in the startup function because I didn't want it to. It doesn't need to update during the entire game. It just needs to update once. Okay. So the next thing on here is dealing with, or the next 2 things on here are dealing with that score way trigger. Okay. I had void on trigger stay 2D, collider 2D other, if other game object dot tag equals score. Okay. And I was trying to set the score so that it'll start. And I wanted you to be on the incline when the score starts. And if you're not on the incline, the score stops. That's including when you get to the top, it has to stop. So what I did with this here, with these 2 with this on trigger stay and the on trigger exit, is I set the bool variable to true and then back to false. Okay. Now, I'm going to skip the next one just because it's not relevant right now. So, this collision is relevant to the timer only. So, it's void update because that's the where it gets checked all the time. Current time equals string.format, and then you write in how you want your timer to look like, and then start time. Okay. I used to also have, what I have here commented out is I used to also have the high score here, but I didn't want it to update every frame, so that's why I took that out of there, but I left it here to show you. Okay, now the if statement says if the collision equals true, then start time plus or equals time dot delta time. What that does is it adds time to the start time. The start time is 0, and it'll add real time to the timer. So as long as you're in touching that that trigger and making the collision true, then the timer will count up. Okay. Why is the counter time going up instead of down? It's simple. It's because you want to see how fast you get up to the top. And when you go to brag to your friends about how how well you're playing, it's about how fast you got there, not how close you made it without losing. So timer starts at 0 and it counts upwards so that you can see with to 2 decimal places how fast you were going. Okay, so okay, one second, I just remembered something. Okay, back to the oil. Okay, remember here the public vector 2 speed equals new vector 2 and then -1 slash -1 or comma -1. Okay. What I was meaning by having numbers to make difficulties out of. You would think I would just set it to one number, but I thought, that's not right. So there's going to be if I can figure it out in time, there's going to be an easy, a normal, and a hard setting. If not, there's only going to be a normal setting, and I have that already written down what that's going to be. So this X number, and it's all about the X. It's not about the Y. The Y actually gave me the difficulty, because if that number is too high, your character's not going to move on that slope. So, so it's all about the X. It's all about being pushed off and down before you go down. So I have a series of numbers for the X-axis on the easy, the normal, and the hard setting to variate. To variate, is that a word? I don't know. To randomize how fast you're allowed to go up the hill. Okay, so there might be times where you can go a little faster, and sometimes it'll slow you down, maybe even push you a little further back, making you feel like you're going 2 steps forward or 3 steps back. But sometimes you might even get 2 numbers back to back that'll help you go forward. So I even made like a easy, normal, and difficult numbers within each difficulty. So that should be fun. I don't want to make it too easy for you guys, like I showed you guys in that mini demo, to get to the top. You don't want it to be that easy. So anybody thinking that they're going to make it in under 9 seconds, it's not going to happen. Okay. What in the world? Oh. Okay. Now, we'll go back up. No, we'll save that one for last. Okay, after the timer, what needs to happen? Okay, I have a timer running, but the timer needs to be displayed somewhere, and that's what this next part is. The on GUI, which is the built-in GUI system for Unity, where I can add a skin, and which the skin, it just changes how the labels or buttons look. You can set different colors or fonts or whatever. Okay, and yeah, so it's a GUI label, GUI.label. GUI has to be all capitalized. And then timer rect and high rect, I set these variables at the top so that when I'm in the inspector, I can set how big or how small these boxes are by just going over to the score script and changing those numbers. Right? How big, how small, and also the location of where they go. And then I can also change which skins go onto those as well. So let me, while I have it here, let's talk about, let's go to assets, test skin. So when you open up test your skin, when you create a skin, When you go to create, and you go all the way down to GUI skin, you'll come up with this little box with this like X-Men button thing looking on it. So you just have to click on that, and you come up with this menu. Click on label or whatever you're working on. So like right now I have label. Yours might be button or box or whatever. So I have label. And each label I can change the background color to if I wanted to, and the text color. So right now I just changed the text color and left the blue area back there. I might change that later on. I can also put in a sprite. Well, I'm not going to use that. Okay. Yeah, so I might put in a sprite, nice little box that I'll be creating in Photoshop or something to put there. Now, if you have buttons or anything like that, see you have this hover. You can set the hover mode to where it'll change. We'll say if this is the normal state, yellow, then when you hover over the button it'll turn black, for instance. Or you can set up two separate buttons in Photoshop and just put the sprite in there, and then you'll have a normal state sprite and a hovered sprite. So I've skipped all these because I'm just worried about the text because I want to make sure it works. So I used the Arial font. It's the only font that's in Unity, and you have to load up into assets. You have to put more fonts in there if you want to use them in Unity. So I put the font size at 14. I didn't want them that big. Bolded, and in the boxes that they're in the middle center. Okay, that's why they kind of look a little off from what those numbers are that I had in the other inspector. Word wrap just is, if it's long enough, it'll just wrap around. Then the rest is actually not important. Just all the way up until alignment, that's really what's important. Or up to word wrap, that's really what's important. Okay, so let's get out of there. Let's go back to the player. And our script. Okay, now, go back down to GUI. Where are you, GUI? Okay, we set a skin variable so that skin can pop. The skin box can show up in the inspector. Timer rect, high rect, we set those both up top also so that we can change everything ourselves. And the information that goes into those labels are saved as current time and high string. Okay? Just like you see up here, current time equals string.format, start time. Okay? Start time is the information that's going into the current, that's being saved into current time. Okay? So, and then when you're later on, no, is it later on? No, right here. Okay, here it is. Void store high score float new scorecard. Now this one was a little strange for me because this player prefs is definitely something new to me. Because what this does is it saves information to the mobile phone, because this is going to be a mobile game. So it's going to, or the whatever mobile device it saves. In this case, it'll be saving the high score so that it can be called again later on. Okay, so scorecard equals playerprefs.getFlowed scorecard, and that's it, right? Scorecard is the information that goes into our high string. Okay? So, if your new scorecard is greater than your scorecard, then playerprefs.setFloat will add new scorecard to your scorecard. Okay? Well, all this is saying is if the score that you just created is higher than the score that's already there, then it'll replace the old score with the score that you just created. That's all that says. Okay, and it stores it in player prefs for later use. For current use, it's for like short-term use, it's stored into this scorecard. All right, and then it's getting called up here to be shown at the top of the screen. Okay, then we can go back up here to the spot that I ignored. Okay, remember this red dot that's up here in the corner? Okay, when you actually get all the way up to the top, if you make it. Okay, no, just all jokes aside. Once you make it all the way up to the top and you catch the turkey, this is when there's a trigger up there, and when you hit that trigger, it'll end the game. Okay. Ending the game just entails saving whatever is in the player prefs for later use. Okay? Not saving the scorecard, but what's in player prefs. Right? And then it'll start the coroutine before, which is a wait for 7 seconds until the next screen appears. And I haven't set a screen in there because I don't have any screens set up yet. That will be in the next video, because I want to get all that set up before I start doing artwork, or at least some of it done before I start messing around with artwork. Okay, so that is pretty much it. For somebody who knows what they're doing as far as coding is concerned, this is probably not a lot. But for me, because I am not a programmer, or as my teacher says, I am a programmer now. I'm just a beginner. This and this is a lot to me. And it took a lot of time to get it done. So, let's see. Is there anything that I missed? No, I don't think there is. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about some things real briefly about what I want to eventually have in here. When the game ends, and this is the main reason why I have this start coroutine in here, is because I want to possibly, if there's time, add an animation. Like, once you catch that turkey, you need an immediate visual, I don't want to say reward, because that just seems wrong to me. You just need visual input telling you that you won. Okay, and in the case that I'm thinking of is I want a cooked turkey to appear on the screen. So now, as soon as I can figure out how to do that, as far as it's just a simple animation that'll just pop up once instead of multiple times, I'm just going to figure out how to do that. And hopefully, if I can do that within the time, then I'll add it in, because I still have, like I said, all of the artwork to do. Let's see, what else did I was thinking about possibly going into the void start and adding also a a countdown. I have a really nice font that I would like to use. I can't remember the name of it, but it looks like wooden planks. The letters are made out of wooden planks. And if there's numbers on there, then I want to do like a countdown with the wooden plank numbers. So that you'll get like a, like 3 seconds before you start type thing. So you don't have to start right away as soon as the screen comes on. So, as far as any other mechanics, I don't have any planned for now. Like I said, just those two animations that I want to do. And I want to see if I can get the turkey to laugh. That might be a little tiny challenge, but I think that'll be something really nice to add into this. If I just make the turkey laugh at whoever's going up the screen, just to antagonize him just a little bit more. Okay, and if you haven't noticed yet, I am a griefer, and when I make games, that's what I do. I grief, because me as a player, I may not like that stuff, but I think, oh wow, this would be cool if I put it into a game. So, let's see. Next up, the next video will be of me starting to set up Unity so that I can get at least the rooms set up or the scenes set up so that I could easily just add my artwork in once it's done. Now I'm going to try. I went and downloaded a program called Painter or something, and it's kind of close to Photoshop. I'm not really sure how close it is, but I'm gonna try to use that to do the artwork with. This way I could record it. If I use that other program, just sitting here for a little bit, it times out, then my recording goes out and starts over, and then I wind up with 1,000 little tiny tidbits of video and audio that I have to put in together myself. And that is a pain. Yes, that would happen with DX Story, that would happen with any other software that I use, not just this, which is Bandicam, yeah. So, I have pictures of Hill running. Yeah, this is going to be exciting, and I can't wait to get this done. And I have a really good feeling about this game. So, keep your eyes open for more videos from me, more updates as the progress on this game goes along. I will try my best to have the artwork recorded. Oh, I might even just set up. I might have to even set up my camera phone, or the camera on my phone to look over my shoulder, so that you can see me doing the artwork. I'll work out something. Yeah, I guess that's it, guys. For those of you that are watching this on Patreon, thank you for the support. For those of you that are watching this on YouTube, that means the game is already out. And if you want to support me making games, because I want to make games for a living, and I want to do it full time, and I need support to get there. I'm pretty sure at some point I might not need the help, but right now I really need the help, and I really appreciate every little penny that you guys can give me. There are 3 short pledges on Patreon. Just go to www.patreon.com/angelwolf, and you will get straight to my page where you can pledge $1, $3, or $5, or however much you want, to support this cause, me reaching my goals, reaching my dreams. If you want to see some other things that I've done, go to www.facebook.com/AngelWolfStudios, and you will be on my Facebook page, where I post patch notes for the games that I'm making. I'm also putting, whatever artwork I do. That's kind of like my portfolio right at the moment. And you'll know about certain events there sometimes faster than you'll see them anywhere else, because I'm always on Facebook. This damn social media has got me sucked in. Alright, it's getting late. I gotta get back to work. And I will see you guys on the flip side. No, I'll see you guys when I'm done, or when I start working on something else. Alright, later.